8월 27일 7시 15분.
Chapter 2. The Dog and His Shadow.
A dog once had a nice piece of meat for his dinner. He was walking along with the meat in his mouth, as happy as a king. On his way home, there was a stream. The dog stopped to look into the calm, clear water.
What did the dog see in the water?
Did the dog see the water? He saw a dog looking up at him. His dog looked the same as our happy little dog. This dog looked the same as our happy little dog, and even had the same rare piece of meat in each mouth. I'll try to get that meat too, said the dog. But as soon as he tried to bite the new piece of meat, his own meat fell out of his mouth and into the stream. Then he saw that the other dog in the water had lost his piece too. He went sadly home. That day he only was his dreams to eat. Be careful of losing something you have, something that may not exist. One day, all the mice came together to talk about the cat. We must think of a plan to get away from it, said one old mouse. It has eaten too many of us, so what shall we do? At last, one proud young mouse stood up. You know, my brother, said the young mouse. The cat moves very quietly. We do not hear it quickly enough to escape. Let's tie a bell around the cat's neck. Then we can't hear it coming and run away. Yeah, shout all the mice. Our smart young friend has thought of an excellent plan. Let's go and buy a bell. But just then, Old Mouse spoke. Wait a minute, said the wise old mouse. Your plan is very good, but who will tie the bell on the cat? Then each mouse looked at another, and they all said, right, who? It is easy to suggest difficult things, but it is hard to do them.
The Hare and the Tortoise.
One day a hare was making fun of the
Being so slow.
tortoise for being so slow. You think I am slow, said the tortoise. Let's run a race. Let's run a race, and I bet that I will win. Oh, really? Answered the hare. Let's try and see. Soon the hare and the tortoise agreed that the fox would be the judge for their race. On race day, both the hare and the tortoise met the fox and the starting line. Both started off together. Soon the hare was far ahead of the slow tortoise. The hare thought she could stop and take a rest. She found some nice comfortable grass to rest in and was soon in a deep sleep. Meanwhile, the kept going and going. He was slow, but he never stopped. After a nice long sleep, the hare woke up, but there was a problem. She slept for too long. She jumped up and ran as fast as she could, but it was too late. The tortoise had already crossed the finish line. Slow and steady wins the race.
The stag at the lake.
One very hot day,
Strong stag stopped to drink.
the tall, strong stag stopped to drink
When he took a drink,
from a clear lake. When he took a drink, he could see his image in the water. My horns are so beautiful, he said. They are so strong and graceful, but I'll still sad because my legs are so thin and ugly. At that moment, a lion came through the forest and tried to jump on the stag.
the stag ran away.
The stag ran away very, very fast.
The ugly legs
The ugly legs helped him run away, but the lion didn't stop following the stag. Soon the stag ran into the forest, but the forest was very thick with many trees. His beautiful horns got caught in the branches. He tried to pull away, but he couldn't because of the long horns. Finally, the lions caught up with the stag and killed him. People often forget what is really important in our lives.
The country mouse and the city mouse.
One day, a city mouse went to visit his friend in the country. The country mouse was very glad to see his good friend. He gave his guest the best dinner that he could find. The country mouse was afraid that there was not enough food for two, so he just ate a little piece of corn. His friend had some green peas, a piece of new cheese, and a ripe red apple. After the city mouse ate all the dinner, he said, "How can you live in the country, my friend? You can see nothing but forest, rivers, fields, and mountains. You must be very tired of hearing nothing but bird songs. Come with me to the city. There you can live on a beautiful house and have good things for dinner every day. When you have lived in the city for a week, you will forget all about living in the country." So the two mice went to the city. They reached the home of the rich city mouse at night. The reached the home of the city mouse at night. "You must be hungry, but we walked for a long time," said the city mouse to his friend. We will have some dinner immediately." So they went to the dining room, and the city mouse found some cake and fruit. "Help yourself," he said. "There is enough for both of us." "This is a very good dinner," said the country mouse. "You are very rich, my friend." Just then the door opened and a dog came in. The mice jumped off the table and ran into a hole in the floor. The poor little country mouse was so frightened. "Do not be afraid," said his friend. "The dog cannot come in here." Then the mice went to the kitchen. They found an apple pie on the shelf. and were enjoying a piece of it. At that moment, they saw two bright eyes watching them. The cat, cried the city mouse, and the mice quickly ran through a hole in the wall. When the country mouse could speak, he said, "Goodbye, my friend. You can live in the city with the dog and cats. I like my home in the country. In the country, the birds sing to me while I eat my simple corn and apples. In the city, the cats watch you eating your fancy cake and pie. I like my corn in safety better than your cake in fear. Better a simple meal in peace than a fancy meal in fear."
Chapter 3. The Goose with the Golden Egg.
There once was a man who had a very fine goose. Every day the goose laid a golden egg. The man soon became rich, but as he became rich, he became greedy. The goose must be gold inside. He thought to himself, "I will open her and get all the golden at once." So he killed the goose, but he found no egg. The man cried and said, "I should have been happy with the golden egg each day." Sometimes greed makes people do foolish things. One day, two men were traveling together. They suddenly came across a bear. One of the men climbed quickly into a tree and tried to hide himself among its branches. The other man fell down and lay on the ground. When the bear came up and smelled him all over, the man held his breath and pretended to be dead. The bear soon left him because, as many people say, a bear will not touch a dead body. When the bear had gone, the traveler in the tree came down to join in his friend. As a little joke, he asked, "When did the bear whisper in your ear?" His friend answered, "Very seriously. He told me never travel with a friend who runs away when danger comes. A true friend is with you in good times and bad times." There once was a young shepherd boy. He watched his sheep at the bottom of the mountain. He was very lonely, watching the sheep all day by himself. So one day he thought of a plan to have some fun. He ran down toward the villagers, calling out, "Wolf, wolf!" The kind villagers come out to help him, and some of them stayed with him for a while. This made the boy very happy. He decided to try the trick again a few days later. After he ran to the villager, shouting, "Wolf, wolf!" Again the villagers came to help him, but they didn't see any wolves. But shortly after this, a whose really died come out. Soon the wolf began to brother the sheep. The boy again cried out even louder than before, "Wolf, wolf!" But the villager had been tricked twice before. They thought the boy was fooling them again because none of them went to help the boy. The wolf ate all his sheep. No one believes a liar even when they tell the truth. A farmer's daughter was carrying a pail of milk. "I can make some money from selling this milk," he thought. "That money will be enough to buy at least 300 eggs. The eggs will produce about 250 chickens. Then the chickens grow. I will selling it in the market. After selling the chickens, I will have enough money to buy a new dress. I will wearing this beautiful new dress to Paris. Then all the best young men will ask me to marry them, but I will refuse all the men and just enjoy the Paris." The young woman was enjoying her thoughts so much she didn't see a stone on the road. Suddenly her foot hit the stone and she fell. She dropped the pail of milk. The milk disappeared into the ground, taking away all of her plans. Do not count your chickens before they are hatched.
The boys and the frogs.
One day, a group of boys were playing by the side of a small lake. Some of the boys threw stones into the water for fun. A lot of frogs lived in this little lake, and they kept getting hit by stones the boys threw. Finally, a wise old frog put his head up out of the water and said, "Boys, please don't throw stones at us. We are only playing," said the boys. "I know that," said the frog, "but your stones hurt us. You may throw stones for fun, but your fun costs us great pain. One person's pleasure may be another's pain." A miser sold most of his land to buy a shiny piece of gold. He burnt the gold in the ground by an old wall and went to look at it every day. One day, one of his workers saw the miser going to the wall and followed him. Soon the worker discovered the secret of the hidden treasure. When the miser was gone, he dug up the gold and stole it. The next day, the miser found that his gold had been stolen. The miser cried and cried in anger and sadness. A neighbor saw the miser crying and found out what was wrong. He said, "Please don't cry so much. She should go and get a stone, bury it in the ground, and part in the stone is the piece of gold. It will be just the same as when the gold was there, because you never did anything with the gold when you had it. The true value of money is not having it but using it wisely.